What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is Saturday. It is September 23rd. It is the second to last Saturday of the regular season, and we are back with a full slate. So, being a Saturday, the main slate is actually locking at noon today. Every so often, we'll get that where we have the main games at noon, and then we'll have the 6:05. So, there are technically three different slates on DraftKings at least. So you've got the main slate here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 games on the main slate. We've got 2 on the afternoon slate. And then we've got 4 on the night slate, which is the normal 6:05 Eastern start. So going through it, we're going to break it down. If you've never been here before, we go through everything. So we go through all of the batters on the slate that we like. We go through all of the pitching on the slate that we like. So not all of the pitchers are showing up as of now. It's some of the teams, again, where it's part of the season where we're going to be calling up some people. We're going to be, pitching some. Then you've got teams that love to do the opener now. So we're going to go through everything that we have to offer. At the end of the video, we're going to go through we do simulations. So we do 10,000 simulations throughout the day. And we lock those in about 2 hours before main slate locks. In the video, we're going to go through 2,000. So we're going to give you the top 10 bats and the top 10 pitchers through 2,000 simulations. And then those go on the player projections tab at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. And you can compare that at the 2,000 mark and the 10,000 mark just to see the big differences, if there are any differences through that. So that being said, we're going to see who the winner of yesterday's video is. And what I mean by that is if you've never been here before, anytime a video gets 50 likes or more, you leave a comment, you are a subscriber, you have a chance to be picked up by the YouTube random comment picker to win a free week of DFS content. 100 likes equals 1 free month, 125 likes equals a free year, and 150 likes equals a lifetime pass. So here's what I'm going to do. Today only, if this video gets 150 likes, 2 people are going to win a lifetime pass, a $499 value. All you have to do, like the video, leave a comment so the picker can find you. And we will pick the winner in tomorrow's video. So tomorrow, obviously Sunday, we've got NASCAR, we've got NFL, we've got MLB, we've got it for you. So we're very excited. We're going to see who the winner is from yesterday's video. And then we'll move on and we'll break down the entire slate. So we'll look at everything. We'll look at matchups and everything like that. So these videos are normally long. I understand that. If you enjoy them, let us know because we want to keep making them for you. So the more likes, the more ways to support the channel would be liking the videos, clicking on the ads, going to check out FTA Plus, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Click on the FTA Plus. There's $24.99 for a month, or you can use... we have a year pass or we have a lifetime pass. So go check it out. You can win every single day. You just got to come back, leave a comment, and so the comment picker can pick you up. So that being said, let's check out who won yesterday's video. Good luck to everyone. And the winner of the free week is Brett Eatman. Nice, Brett. So 2 ways to let us know. You can either just let me know in this video that you saw it, and then you can either email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp1@gmail.com, or Twitter/X @advisors_team. Send me either of those. Send me the username and the email you would like to use, and we'll get you set up for that free week. Good luck to everybody else in this video, and let's get rolling. So, one of the first games on the slate, we've got the Braves at the Nationals. We've got Kyle Wright versus Joan Adon. Now, it really just depends which way you want to go. So we've got, this is technically the main slate, and we are kind of looking at it. We've got some pitching. We're to the part of the season, like I said, where not a ton of great pitching that I love, but we will look at all of them. So just looking at Wright, 6,500 coming in. We know that he was hurt. He's only started 7 games on the year. He's going up against Washington, has not faced them this year. He's pitching on the road where he does have a 9.28 ERA. So, I mean, again, that's 3 starts on the road. So the numbers are a little bit skewed. Comes in with a 7.71 ERA, 0-3 record, 28 Ks. Everyone's going to be on the Braves offense for good reason. They're a fantastic offense. Looking at this, I don't want anything to do with Kyle Wright. And then Adon here, he's the 3rd lowest priced pitcher at 5,600. Splits-wise, he has not faced Atlanta this year. He's pitching at home where he does have an 8.28 ERA. So in this game, I am only strictly going just bats. I'm not looking at pitching. I'm looking at the bats in this one. So I am definitely looking. Really, we don't have to cover the Braves because you know who it is. I mean, it's literally the entire team. All of that red, a combination back and forth of whomever you want. And the red I would go with, I mean, literally everyone, I feel confident enough, everyone but Forrest Wall. I wouldn't use Luke Williams. I probably wouldn't do Lopez. Maybe Pilar and up. Really just got to kind of see who that lineup is that comes out. Then we can look at the bats in that sense. But obviously, Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Ozuna, Murphy, or Darno, whoever's catching, you know what you're going to get out of this offense. Flip side of that, the Nationals bats against Kyle Wright. Now, kind of just looking, as you can see, there's a huge, just like the differences here. So you've got Braves, absolute red everywhere. Then we've got the Nationals, where they've got a ton of blue. They don't have much red at all. The bats that I would even consider in this would be Lane Thomas. I would look at Joey Meneses, C.J. Abrams, Keibert Ruiz I'm okay with. Dom Smith, the tournament only. Carter Kieboom I'm okay with. Luis Garcia, I don't mind. So the Nationals would be a stack for tournaments. The Braves are a stack for both. It really doesn't matter what you're getting out of that. You know that the Braves are going to put up a ton of runs, and that's kind of what we're expecting them to do. If you want to go off a little bit, a very contrarian type would be looking at a National stack here. So I don't like the pitching in this at all. I'm loving both stacks. I obviously love the Braves a little bit more. Diamondbacks at the Yankees, to be announced versus Carlos Rodon. And I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but this is going to be the matchup that I believe I see on Friday when I go to Kansas City game. So if you are new to the channel, we try to do videos every single day. If we're not able to, always check FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We should have an article out there for you. I will have a video out for next Friday. I don't think I'll have a video out for next Saturday or Sunday, because I'm going to be in Kansas City watching the Yankees and the Royals, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be watching this guy on the mound in Kansas City. So we don't know, according to this, we don't know who's pitching for Arizona, but we can definitely look to see if DraftKings might have an idea. And then we got Carlos Rodon. Rodon in his career has had success against them, and he's been pitching better as of late. Overall in his career, 71 plate appearances, 164 batting average, 26.8 K percentage against him, which are fantastic numbers. We dig into those numbers a little bit. Looking here, they think it's going to be Zach Davies, which exactly what I want. If you've been to this channel before, you know the disdain we have for Zach Davies, who cheated on his wife and then ghosted her and then sent her divorce letter through the mail, and I don't even think he's talked to her since then. Real piece of shit. But good thing for us, he sucks on the mound. 5,800, he has done terribly. Had a good game against Baltimore. Obviously has not faced the Yankees this year. Pitching on the road, he has an 8.10 ERA. I'm stacking the Yankees. I love me some Rodon. I love me some Yankees bats in here. Now, it will really depend on who's in the lineup. So for Friday, we saw Estevan Florial was the leadoff hitter. So if he's up there, I love him there. He's kind of coming on. He's coming a little bit slow in his 30-plus at-bats in the majors, but now he's getting the rhythm of it. If he's at the top of the list, I absolutely love him for 4 at-bats. He's got speed. He gets on. If he doesn't hit a home run, he gets extra base hits. He could steal some bases too. I don't want anything to do with the Diamondbacks, but if you were going to go against Carlos Rodon because, he has struggled this season, a Tommy Pham against a lefty, Longoria against a lefty, Moreno, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Christian Walker, they all tend to hit lefties well. I'm probably staying away from Arizona. I would go with Rodon. I would go with the Yankees bats. Now, I would look at Aaron Judge. I would look at Estevan Florial. I believe DJ had Friday off. He did not start. I would look at Gleyber Torres. Austin Wells should be in there. I'd love me some Austin Wells. Friday night, I believe he was batting cleanup, which is fantastic in this lineup. Volpe I'm okay with. It really just depends on what lineup they put out there. So, obviously, Judge is most likely going to be in the lineup. He's going to be the anchor for your Yankees stack here. And Rodon, like I said, I mean, he's up here, 7,300. Game logs coming off back-to-back really good games against Boston and Pittsburgh. Had a bad game against Detroit and then 2 good games here, Houston and Tampa Bay. Yes, he has a bloated ERA, but I'm okay with it. So I do love me some Rodon. If it is, in fact, Zach Davies, I'm stacking the Yankees on this slate. Angels at the Twins is next. You got Kenny Rosenberg. That sounds like a made-up Road to the Show pitching name for sure. Versus Sonny Gray. Rosenberg's never faced him before. Sonny Gray, 35 plate appearances, 250 batting average. Sonny Gray's, he's expensive. He's 9,800. He's the 3rd highest priced pitcher on the slate. Looking at this, game logs coming off a fantastic start against the White Sox. Not so good against Tampa Bay and Cleveland, and then a good game against Cleveland. So it's been up and down. I mean, he still comes in with a 2.85 ERA, 8-7 record, 171 strikeouts here, averaging 17.7 fantasy points per game, which in my theory is not enough. If you've been here before, you know that we're at least looking for 2 times value, meaning 9.8 times 2. So we need more than 17.7 there. That's the problem. So we look at these game logs, really good. Splits-wise, he has not faced the Angels this year. He is pitching at home. He does hold a better ERA at home, 2.77. 3 home runs in 15 starts is not bad. Again, he's a ground ball guy. He's getting those ground balls. He's not leaving the ball up in the air. That's why he's only given up a total of 7 home runs all year, where I think Lance Lynn has like 45 home runs given up. So you can see that's the kind of different pitcher, and he's very even with his games at home, games on the road. Looking at this, his innings pitched, hits allowed, everything is right around each other. He does strike out a little bit more people at home. Whether or not you want to look at that as a plus or a minus, hint, it's a plus. So I do like Sonny Gray here because the Angels, there's no one in this lineup that scares me. So we'll take a look at both lineups. I guess Rosenberg is probably at the bottom. Yeah, 5,400 game logs. He's getting about 5 innings. You can see it's going 5-6 innings here. Give up 5 earned runs to Detroit. I actually had a good game against Cleveland. Had an okay game against Baltimore. He's not doing much. He's on the road. He's not started a game on the road, and he still has a 7.20 ERA. I would definitely be looking at the Twins bats here. Kepler, Wallner, Royce Lewis is probably out. I think last I read, he was getting an MRI on, so he's probably out this entire time. Edward Julian I'm okay with. Jorge Polanco I don't mind. If you want to go lower, Donovan Solano, Kyle Farmer, Ryan Jeffers, maybe a little bit. I don't know how heavily invested I will be on a twin stack, but those are the bats I'm looking at. I'm not looking at any of the Angels bats. I'm probably just staying away from them. They could have a good game against Sonny Gray, but I just don't see it. And if I'm wrong, I'll let you know tomorrow. If you remind me, I'll let you know. But yeah, I don't think I want anything to do with the Angels. So I'm looking at Sonny Gray and maybe a couple of the Twins bats. Not 100% sure if I'll have a full stack or not. Rockies at the Cubs, you got Chris Flexen versus Jordan Wicks. Flexen, 485 batting average against him in 37 plate appearances against the Cubs. And then Jordan Wicks, he's faced him one time this year, had success. The dude's breaking balls are wild. You can see, like Chris Flexen, he's at the bottom, 5,200. You're stacking, you want the Cubs. You're looking at the Cubs, both pitching and hitting. So we'll just bring that up while we look at the... While we look here. So, Jordan Wicks, game logs, not a good game against Arizona. Okay game against Colorado, but did not have his best stuff. It's kind of been a couple of starts since he's had his best stuff, to be completely honest. He's only faced Colorado one time. And in that time, 6 innings, 1 earned run, but only had 2 Ks. That's the problem. If we're paying for him, he's got to have more than 2 Ks. So that kind of stinks with 13.1, which would be under his 2 times value at 14. But there are other options for pitching. But in this matchup, I'd rather take Wicks over Flexen. If you're not taking either pitcher, Ryan McMahon, Nolan Jones, I'm okay with. Hunter Goodman, Elias Diaz, Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon. Those are the bats that I would look at. I'm probably not focused on those bats. I'm probably more focused on the Cubs bats, and then I would be focused on Wicks. And then the flip side of that, what bats are we going to take? And this doesn't take into effect any weather concerns or anything like that. This is just purely looking at stats, looking at what we've got in front of us. So if you need that little bit of boost, there is sometime Windy City. We do have the ballpark ratings where you can see what Wrigley has done and how many runs they've given up. We have all of that at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, and you can check that out. But that being said, Cubs bats that I like, Chris Morel. Suzuki had another home run on Friday. I would look at Ian Happ. I love me some Dansby Swanson. Mike Tauchman. If Tauchman leads off, I do like Mike Tauchman. Let's see if he led off on Friday. I can't remember. Did have a home run. Boxed for the Cubs. Tauchman did lead off on Friday. So, I mean, as long as he's getting leadoffs and he's there, I love Tauchman. If Tauchman is not leading off, I don't know if I'll take much exposure to him because it's really dependent on where he is in the lineup. Because obviously, if he's leading off, he's getting at least 4 at-bats a game. That's where, he's getting on. He has a chance to get a run in. He has a chance to get you more fantasy points that way. Cody Bellinger kind of slowed down a little bit. Cubs have really decided that they're trying not to make the postseason. They were not doing good. Then they went on a run. Then they were leading the division. Then they weren't leading the division. Then they had the wild card. Then they didn't have the wild card, and it's very up and down for them. So this is the last week of the season, basically. You got to turn it on here. I would look at Bellinger. I would look at Nico Horner as well. So not looking at Flexen, a little bit of Wicks, probably tournament only, and then Cubs bats for sure. Mets at the Phillies, you got Jose Quintana versus Zach Wheeler. Quintana facing the Phillies, where Zach Wheeler is facing his former team. He has seen them a ton. Both of these pitchers have seen each of these teams a ton. So they're very familiar with it. It shouldn't come as a shock. We see that Wheeler is the second highest priced pitcher on the slate at $11,000. And then we see that Quintana is down here at $7,500. So Quintana against the Phillies, game logs. He hasn't hit value in a couple starts. Splits wise, he has not. Somehow he's not faced Philly this year. He's pitching on the road where he does have a worse ERA. Or 3.65. So use that knowledge for whatever you want. Again, Phillies seem to hit lefties well. We kind of know that. And that's kind of my thought in this one. He's been up and down. He does come in with a 3.02 ERA, though. So he's been really good when he's on. But when he's off, it's just a little off. Then we got Wheeler facing his old team. He's already faced them once this year. Actually got hit by them pretty hard. 5.1 innings, 5 earned runs. But he had 8 Ks in there. I don't know if I want to take either pitcher here, especially at his price at $11,000. I feel like that's a trap. I feel like that one right there is a trap, and I would rather take the bats in this situation. So let's take a little gander of what bats we would look at here against both pitchers. So just kind of looking, the Mets bats that I would take if I'm not taking Wheeler, which I'm probably not. Mark Vientos has been catching some fire lately. I would look at Brandon Nimmo. I would look at Ronnie Mauricio. Obviously, Pete Alonso. Francisco Alvarez I'm okay with. You want to go a little bit lower, Jeff McNeil. Brett Beatty. Probably would be as far down as I would want to reach and feel confident about. And then the bats against the Mets here. So what bats against Quintana? Obviously, we love to take Trey Turner and Nick Castellanos and Real Muto all against a lefty. On top of that, we like Alec Bohm as well. but we can still look at Brandon Marsh as a cheaper option. You've got Bryce Harper there, depending if he plays. Definitely check that out. Johan Rojas has been getting some stolen bases lately and relatively cheap. I would look at those bats. I think everyone's going to be on Schwarber, Harper, Marsh, Turner, Bohm, Castellanos, Real Muto. You got to find a little bit. Maybe you want to be a little contrarian with that same lineup. Figure out who is starting and make your way around that way. So I don't really want either pitcher. I don't trust Quintana against the Phillies, and I don't trust Zach Wheeler at his price against a Mets team that has hit him hard one time this year. Again, we know that Wheeler is really good. We know that he has Cy Young stuff. We know that he can strike out a ton of people. He struck them out 8 times their last meeting, but he gave up 5 earned runs, and those runs are fantasy points taken away. So in that instance, I'm probably not taking either of these pitchers here. Tigers at the Athletics, you got to be announced according to MLB Savant. And then you got Joe Boyle. Now, that picture doesn't even look... there's certain baseball players that if I saw on the street in street clothes, I'd know exactly who they are. I don't know if I'd be able to tell who Greg Maddux was. Because this dude just walking in, I don't know if I'd be able to tell who Joe Boyle is either. Because Greg Maddux in street clothes just was odd to me. I think this dude's odd as well. But let's take a look. Let's see if they've got anyone listed for Detroit. They think it's going to be Joey Wentz. He last pitched on Sunday, so it would make sense. Game log-wise, it really depends because Joey Wentz usually is behind an opener. So last time out, Miguel Diaz opened. So I'm very much expecting there to be an opener for the first inning, and then it's going to be lefty Joey Wentz against Oakland. Now, splits-wise, he has not faced Oakland this year, but it is in a pitcher's park in Oakland. At 6,200, I'm okay with. What are your thoughts? That makes sense. What are your thoughts on the, they have the farewell tour. They give prizes or presents and gifts to good retiring players. Oakland gave an $80 bottle of wine to Miguel Cabrera, who, it's only an $80 bottle of wine, up and down for a debate there, but he's a recovering alcoholic who does have a DUI and cheated on his wife. What are your thoughts? Should they have maybe not given him an alcoholic drink and maybe spent more than $80? I know they're a poverty franchise, but what are your thoughts on that? That could be your comment for the day down below. Check it out. But yeah, Joey Wentz, tournament-wise, I'm okay with Joey Wentz here, but the problem is he's not going deep into games. That's the only, and he's probably going to be behind an opener. We're probably looking at 4 innings, maybe 5 out of him. He could get the W if he does come in and they score some runs for him. And then we've got Boyle here. Boy. Game logs. He's pitched 1 time, 3 innings, 1 hit allowed, 4K. Actually had success against San Diego. Yeah, so this could be more of a traditional start like it's saying. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with, but at $7,000, why are you so expensive? I'm probably not paying $7,000 for Joe Boyle. I'm not paying $7,000 for Joe Boyle at all when I can pay $7,300 for Carlos Rodon. And we know we're getting most likely at least 6 innings out of Rodon. Boyle, tournament, okay, I'm okay with, but yeah, no, I'm not using Boyle, and I really don't like anything in this game outside of Torkelson, maybe Kerry Carpenter, Parker Meadows, be the only 3 bats I like for Tigers. I don't like anyone for the Athletics. Blue Jays at Tampa Bay is next. You got Ryu versus Zach Littell. Ryu, 65 plate appearances. He's seen, equivalent of like 3+ starts there. So you could look at that. And then Littell here, 19 plate appearances, 588. Hasn't really seen each other much. But let's look at the numbers here. So Littell at home didn't hit value and hit value a couple of times here. Splits-wise, he has faced Toronto once this year, was not a starter. 0.1 innings, 2 earned runs, no strikeouts, nothing there. I'm not using him at 6,700. The pricing seems weird today for some of these pitchers, right? And then you got Ryu at 8,600. Game logs, not coming off a good game against Boston. He has not faced Tampa Bay this year. But he's only started 9 games. He's pitching on the road where he does have a better ERA, 1.9. But Tampa Bay is a team that can hit lefties well, so I'm probably not in on either of these pitchers. I would look at the bats, though, and it will just come down to who's going to be here and who's going to be in the starting lineup, which we're going to look at real quick. So just kind of looking. If we're not taking either pitcher, you're looking at Toronto bats. You're looking at maybe Matt Chapman. Vlad is that one where, like I said in yesterday's video, it's up and down if he's going to be in. He's got a knee discomfort problem, had an MRI. If he's going to start, is he going to stay into the game? I don't want to pay up that much if he could leave the game due to being injured or whatever the discomfort actually is. So I'm probably avoiding Guerrero unless he proves otherwise. That's the only problem I have there. And then looking at that, Bo Bichette obviously would be an option I would look at. George Springer, Dalton Varsho. Like I said, if Vlad is out, Spencer Horowitz is there. Let's just take a look at Horowitz. I want to see his price. $2,700. He's obviously not doing much, but he's $2,700. I'm okay with. And then I was gonna say Davis Schneider, but I'm pretty sure they've got him priced up. $5,100 for Davis Schneider, who's batting .280 with 8 home runs. Hasn't really done much in over 10 days. I don't like his price at $5,100. So yeah, just kind of looking at those. I'm probably looking there. You could do a Kiermaier possibly or Whit Merrifield. And then the flip side of that, if you don't trust Ryu, because we've seen him get lit up in the past quite easily, batters that hit well, Yandy Diaz, Randy Arozarena. It's actually kind of crazy. Is he hurt? Who am I? Luke Raley. Is Luke Raley hurt? Oh, they put him on the IL. When? Oh, Friday. Cervical strain. He collided with a staff member during batting practice on last Saturday. Wild. Didn't know that. So he's out. Had no idea. So yeah, Yandy Diaz, Randy Arozarena, I like. Harold Ramirez would be a tournament option. Another, if you want to get even lower, Paredes, Manny Margot, Basabe. These are all tournament options that I'm okay with. And then they did call up Junior Caminero. Now, I want to see. Is he not on here? So he's not on the list yet. They might make an update with this. Junior Caminero would be an option if he's in there, but they obviously have to put him on the list. So, again, I'm not using either pitcher. I'm using both sides. If at all, I would use both sides as stacks there. White Sox at the Red Sox, you got Dylan Cease versus Nick Pivetta. What are we going to get? Both of these pitchers, when they're on, are very good pitchers. They haven't been on like consistently for a bit. Like you can see, like Dylan Cease against Minnesota, we took him. This is the difference between us and like other DFS providers. I'm going to let you know right now, I took Dylan Cease against Minnesota, and it didn't work out. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks, only 13.3 fantasy points. Against Kansas City, had a good start. Then against Kansas City before that, did not have a good start. Then Baltimore didn't hit value. Oakland didn't hit value. Colorado didn't hit value. He's just been it's very weird to see because this dude had so many strikeouts last year. I think he was in the Cy Young race, right? He fell off so hard. He has not faced Boston this year. He is pitching on the road where he does have a 5.47 ERA, and the ball does fly out of here in Fenway. I'm probably not paying $9,000 for him. And then the flip side of that, the flip side is we're looking at Nick Pivetta. Is he not on here? Oh, there he is. Pivetta. Game logs. Value. Didn't hit it. Didn't hit it. Didn't hit it. Didn't hit it. Hit it. Didn't hit it. Hit it. So he's also up and down. And honestly, looking at splits, he has faced the White Sox once this year. Was not a start. Only went 0.1 innings. Tournament-wise, I kind of like Pivetta against the White Sox. I do not like Dylan Cease. Okay, so I don't know if anyone watches MTV The Challenge, but he looks like a dude. Oh, you guys can't see it, can you? He looks like... Oh, let me pause it. Let me figure it out, and you tell me he doesn't look like them. I'll be right back. Okay. You're not going to tell me that Pivetta doesn't look exactly like Evan from The Challenge, right? Twins. Right? I'm not crazy. They look like twins. That's all I got. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So, I would use Nick Evan Pivetta over Dylan Cease. I would look at the bats here. I kind of have a feeling I'd rather take the Boston bats than I would take the White Sox bats. And we'll look at it once it loads. Man, this computer's so slow. The internet's been very weird the past couple of days. They're supposed to be fixing it. White Sox bats I'm not using. I am using Pivetta. The Red Sox bats that I would look at would be Rafael Devers against Cease. I would look at Wilyer Abreu to be a tournament option. Justin Turner, pay up there. Adam Duvall, I do like Duvall better against lefties, but I'm okay with Duvall there. Verdugo and Yoshida, I'm okay with. Emmanuel Valdez and Rafaela, I don't mind either. It just depends. Like you can see, the Red Sox, they only have a couple of batters that have some decent red in there, and then it's kind of blah. That's kind of why they're in last place right now. So yeah, I'm not using Cease. Last year, if you would have told me last year that I would be on the fence of using Dylan Cease, I would have told you you're crazy because he's an amazing pitcher. Kind of same thing with Alek Manoah this year, which is nuts. But yeah, that being said, I'm not using Cease. I'm using the Red Sox bats. I'm using Pivetta as one of my pitchers. Brewers at the Marlins. You got Brandon Woodruff versus Jesus Luzardo. Love me some Woodruff here. Always love a Corbin Burnes Woodruff back-to-back type days when they're going up against the Jesus Lizard and the Miami Marlins. So let's just take a look at these numbers real quick. Right? I think this is still on here. Yeah, so this is the last game on the main slate that we can even touch. For the main slate anyway. And the main slate is what our cheat sheet is consisted of and what our lineups are consisted of. Main slate. So yeah, that being said, Brandon Woodruff is expensive. He's $11,800. But between him or Wheeler, I would rather pay up $800 more for Woodruff than I would for Zach Wheeler. So just kind of looking at Woodruff here against Miami. Game logs coming off. Look at these. Fantastic games. He came off the IL August 6th. And he's just shoved all but one game. Texas, again, it's Texas, though. That's not against him. He faced Miami last Monday on September 11th. Complete game, 6 hits, 7 Ks, 39.1 fantasy points. The only time he's touched them this year, I think he does it. I'm not going to say he's going to do it again and get a complete game. But I do love me some Woodruff in here, and I'd rather pay $11,800 for him. And then we can look at the Jesus Lizard here. 9,500 going up against Milwaukee. He did just face them same game, so it's the matchup of the same time. He was on the other end of that 12-0 game. 5 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 Ks, 0.9 fantasy points. I don't want anything to do with the Jesus Lizard. I want all of the Brandon Woodruff. I was going to say like Jesus Wood or something, but I would look at Woodruff over Luzardo, and I would look at Milwaukee bats over Miami bats. So let's take a look real quick at these bats that make us feel some kind of way for the Milwaukee Brewers. So looking at those, Josh Donaldson, as much as it pains me to watch him go to the playoffs this year, I would look at him. Christian Yelich. I want to see the last time Yelich hit. Had a good game. So he's been day to day. Okay, so he had a week off. So he played one game against the Yankees, and then he had a week off. Okay. But he hasn't done much, and he's still 5,400. I might avoid Yelich just because of his price, as much as I don't want to say that. William Contreras against the lefty I love. Carlos Santana, Mark Canha. Mark Canha's been absolutely on another planet since getting traded from the Mets. Now he has a chance. He's going to the playoffs. Game log. Like he's had look at this. Just positive. and his price is still under 4K. He's just getting positive numbers. It's been since September 10th he didn't have a hit. He didn't have any fantasy points. Just on another level. He's did very well against the Cardinals. I love Mark Canha here. At 3,800 against a lefty, sign me up for Mark Canha. He might be one of my core plays. So I love me some Mark Canha. Brian Anderson against the lefty. It will really depend on the lineup that comes out. Now, I don't know if I want to pay it for Yelich, but I would look at Donaldson, Contreras, Rowdy Tellez, Carlos Santana, Mark Canha. I would be looking at. Those are the ones that I like. I don't want anything to do with Miami. I'm looking at Brandon Woodruff, and I'm looking at the Brewers stack against Luzardo, and I don't want anything to do with Miami. Then that brings us to these two non-main slate games, the weird little whatever afternoon slate here of two games, which I'm not a fan of. I probably won't be playing this at all. You've got Baltimore at Cleveland and Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. So John Means versus Cal Quantrill. And we stacked against Means his last start, and it worked out. It was Houston. He was priced like for Houston coming in here. I don't know what their pricing was. 5 innings, 1 earned run. He only had 7.1. He didn't really do much, but he did get up 4 hits. And then the time before, we stacked. Sorry, it wasn't against Houston. It was against St. Louis, because that's what it was. Because in that video, I was like, why the hell is he 8,000? Why is he 8,000 coming off the IL, hadn't pitched since last April against St. Louis? 5 hits, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 1K. That's what it was. I don't love Cleveland as a stack, but I don't think I can trust John Means at 7,500, especially on like this slate right here with you've got to take 2 pitchers. I don't trust that. And then you got Cal Quantrill against Baltimore. Quantrill didn't do much here. Hit value, didn't hit value. He's faced Baltimore once this year, 4.1 innings, 8 earned runs. That's the problem. He has faced them one time. It's Baltimore. They are a very good team. I don't think I want anything to do with pitching in this one. I will look at bats, just depending on who's out there. Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, Heston Kjerstad. I like Ryan O'Hearn. I'm okay with. I don't mind Cedric Mullins. It really just depends on the lineup that comes out. Again, Baltimore, obviously, first place. They're going to make the playoffs. They could rest some people, depending, I guess. Let's see. I guess it depends on the standings. They might not rest anyone. They're probably not going to rest anyone. They're only 1.5 up of Tampa Bay right now for the division. So they will hit a wild card, but they're still playing for the division. So every one of their starters are going to play. You want to go a little bit lower for Baltimore bats. Westberg, I'm okay with. Ramon Urias, I'm okay with. Aaron Hicks, as long he was part of my home run parlay on Thursday and did not do anything for me. I still won a round robin. I still won 130, but I could have won 800. But Aaron Hicks is on my list. He's still an option. Just don't trust him to be someone who's going to hit a home run for you. Could be other ways. That's probably it. So, flip side of that, I mean, if you want to take batters against John Means, Jose Ramirez, I'm okay with. Bo Naylor, I don't mind. Ramon Laureano. Laureano's, against lefties, I'm okay with. That's basically it. I don't like the Cleveland bats, so I'm probably not focused on pretty much anyone there. I'd rather look at Baltimore bats and just not pitching in the slate at all. I mean, not the slate of the game, but also the slate's not the best. And then the second game of this amazing slate that we call the afternoon. Pittsburgh at Cincy. They think it's going to be Andre Jackson. They thought that last time, and I believe it wasn't him. Let's see. No, he did come in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust him going in this ballpark. He's already faced him once this year as a start. Only went 3-point innings in that game, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. I don't trust him at all. But again, I don't like this slate. Then you got Connor Phillips. Game logs, coming off a really good game against Minnesota. Hasn't faced Pittsburgh, obviously, this year. He's given up 7 earned runs at home and 4 home runs. I'm skipping this game, but I would look at some bats, I guess. The bats, I suppose, Pittsburgh-wise, Cabrian Hayes, Palacios, Reynolds, Jack Sawinski, Indy Rodriguez, I could look at. Henry Davis, if he's in there, maybe. I don't know. There's just not a lot to like. And then red side, if you're not going with Andre, Marte, Encarnacio Strand, I'm okay with. Joey Votto, maybe. India, Spencer Steer. That's it. I just don't like this slate. I'm probably avoiding this little afternoon dance or whatever you want to call it. And then we've got the 4-game late slate, which is our normal main slate starting time, but it's not this year. We've got the Mariners at the Rangers. Now, normally, I would look at this. But again, the Rangers at home have just been so good. Logan Gilbert has faced them, 128 plate appearances in his career, 254 batting average against him. And then the Rangers, let's see, who do they think it's going to be pitching? They think it's going to be Jordan Montgomery. He did last pitch on Monday, so it's technically his start in the rotation. We took him in that game against Boston. 7 strong innings, 26.8 fantasy points. Now he's facing Seattle. He has not faced them this year. Seattle is usually good against lefties, but I might take exposure to him at 8,700. But a problem is 8,700, he needs 17.4 fantasy points, which is below what he's averaging, but he's gotten in his last 2. But then you see he didn't get it in his a while. So tournament, I'm okay with Jordan Montgomery. But again, Seattle, Logan Gilbert, I'm probably not paying that price up for him. He's faced them once this year. Actually, had success against them, though. 6.2 innings, 2 earned runs in 10 Ks. You know what? Logan Gilbert might go under-owned because he is going up against Texas. I don't know if I can trust Montgomery enough, though. If you're not taking either pitcher, though, I'm kind of leaning more towards Logan Gilbert. But if not, if I am looking, bats-wise on both sides, Julio, Teoscar Hernandez, Eugenio Suarez, Cal Raleigh, Dylan Moore, Ty France would be a cheap option against a lefty. I could look at those. Flip side of that, if you're not taking Logan Gilbert because he has had success once, but we know that this is a very good hitting Texas team. Corey Seager anchors that top of the lineup there. Josh Young, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe, Jonah Heim. Go a little bit lower. Grossman or Travis Jankowski, I'm okay with them as well. Would be kind of what I'm looking at in this matchup. So maybe a little bit of Gilbert. I don't know if I trust Montgomery enough. I just like the bats a little bit more. Then the Royals at Houston, to be announced versus JP France. They think it's going to be Jordan Lyles. In that case, I believe we just stacked them against him. We just took the Astros against him in his last start. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs. We had both of those home runs, I believe. I'm off of Jordan Lyles. I'm looking at Houston bats. And then JP France, I believe, just faced him as well. Yes, also not good here. 4.1 innings, 5 earned runs. I don't like the pitching in this matchup here. I'd rather take the bats. So looking at the bats that I'd rather take, so the bats for Houston, I think it's kind of obvious. Jordan, Kyle Tucker, Michael Brantley would be one. Jose Altuve, Diaz. I do like Diaz a little bit more against lefties. You guys know that, but I'll look at him. Go cheaper options for tournaments. Chas McCormick if he's in there. Jeremy Pena, Mauricio Dubon, John Singleton. Those are all very contrarian tournament options I would look at. And then on the flip side, if you're not taking JP France, I wouldn't be surprised if Nelson Velasquez has another home run. I would look at Velasquez. I would look at MJ Melendez. I would look at Michael Massey. I would look at Edward Olivares, Bobby Witt Jr. Is Salvi Perez on the IL? He's not on the list. Is he on the IL? That's usually what that means. When did that happen? Monday. Wait. Oh, he hasn't pitched in a while. Okay. Didn't realize he was put on the 7-day IL list. Okay. So, obviously, Perez is out. Had no idea that was a thing. Those would probably be the only Royals bats I like. I obviously like the Astros bats a little bit more, but we could see a high-scoring game in this one again. We could see the Royals putting up some runs. So, not liking pitching in this one. Then you got the Cardinals at the Padres. You got Jake Woodford versus Nick Martinez. We've got Woodford down here at 5,700 coming in. Game logs. He had an okay game against Milwaukee. Didn't get value. Only went 2.2 innings. He's going in there. He's getting 2 innings. He actually had really good value for the innings pitched, but he's not getting in there. I guess it's a bullpen day. Maybe he's an opener or a long relief type pitcher. I'm not using him against San Diego. And then Nick Martinez, on the other hand, same thing. 6,000 game logs. Hit value against Oakland. Only went 3 innings. But it could be a bullpen game. So, yeah, that's why I hate openers. It's so hard to distinguish what to expect out of these, isn't it? So, looking at these, we could definitely see different ways. But let's take a look at the bats that we may look at, just depending on the lineup that comes out in the bullpen. So, Paul Goldschmidt, I would look at. Wilson Contreras is on the IL. I wonder why he still shows up. Newt Bar, Edmund, Palacios. Again, Cardinals are out. We're going to be seeing a lot of things that we might not like in this lineup. I'm probably avoiding the Cardinals. Padres, on the other hand, against Woodford, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., Machado, Trent Grisham, Garrett Cooper, Luis Campusano. I mean, there's a lot to like about the Padres bats. You want to get even cheaper if he starts. I don't know if he will. G-Man Choi could be Jurickson Profar would be another cheap option I would look at there. Then the final game to be announced versus the Giants, which is pretty much a big trend all year for the Giants versus Clayton Kershaw. So, or Nick Martinez is going to open, and then Pedro Avila is going to long relief. Okay. So San Francisco, they think it's going to be well, this is the thing. Ross Stripling always is listed as the starter, and then he's not. It's been 7 days since he started or pitched. He hasn't gone into games. I don't trust him. So I'm out on Stripling, even if it is. And then we've got Kershaw. He usually does good against San Francisco. His career-wise, 121 plate appearances, 23.1 K percentage, 272 batting average there. We look at this. The problem is he's not going any more than 5 innings. And at his price of $11,000, you can't trust it. I really hate this night slate. I think I'm only probably sticking to the main slate that locks at noon. And then after that, just look forward to Sunday. That's kind of what I would say to you. Again, you kind of know the Dodgers bats that are going to go off. It will really just be dependent on who the actual starter will be for the Giants, and then kind of make your lineup assumptions that way. So that is the breakdown of all of the pitching, all of the hitting. Hopefully you found it helpful and useful. If that's all you need, that's fantastic. That's what we're trying to do, make you a better DFS player. If you need a little bit more help, check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com and check out all of the content we have over there. But like I said at the beginning, we are going to go over the top 10 batters and pitchers on this slate through 2000 simulation. So get ready, get set, let's go. Number 1, Ronald Acuna Jr. Number 2 is Fernando Tatis Jr. 3 is Gunnar Henderson. 4 is Trey Turner. 5 is CJ Abrams. 6 is Marcell Ozuna. 7 is Kyle Schwarber. 8 is Bryce Harper. 9 is Ryan O'Hearn. And number 10 is Mr. William Contreras against the Jesus Lizard himself. And then pitching-wise, we've got Zach Wheeler at number 1. I don't know if I want to pay that price. Like I said, again, this is what I like. You can also look at these simulations. You don't have to agree with all of them. These are ones you could fade. Maybe everyone in the ownership's going to be high on Wheeler. I'm off of Wheeler. Maybe we have success that way. So these are my thoughts. Sonny Gray at number 2. Nick Pivetta at number 3. Brandon Woodruff at number 4. 5 is Dylan Cease. I don't like Dylan Cease at his price. 6 is Jesus Luzardo. I don't think I like him. 7 is Zach Littell. 8 is Ryu. 9 is Kyle Wright. And number 10 is Jordan Wicks. And there you have it. Those are the top 10 bats and top 10 pitchers on this day, September 23rd of the year 2023. Good luck on this slate. If you have questions, get them down below. Get this to 150 likes, and 2 people will win a lifetime pass. That's what I've got for you guys today. Good luck, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!